Last question seeking an oral reply, Ms. KWOK Fu-yung. To reduce the potential impact of water mains replacement works on traffic and the public, and to expedite the replacement of aged water mains in 2024, the Water Supplies Department set up an interdepartmental task force under the chairmanship of the Director of Water Supplies and comprising representatives from various departments such as the Development Bureau, the Transport Department, and Highways Department. In this connection, will the government inform this council, 1. Of the number of meetings held by the task force since its establishment and its effectiveness in enhancing the replacement of aged water mains, whether the task force has any mechanism in place to intervene and reassess the urgency of replacing water mains on road sections where persistent leakage has been detected through long-term monitoring by the Water Intelligence Network. If so, of the details, if not, the reasons for that. 2. Of the respective numbers of cases currently identified being processed or impending processing by the task force, and among them the number of main burst hotspots, that is, road sections of 400 meters in length where more than one burst of water mains with a diameter of 150 mm or above has occurred within 2 years, with a breakdown by district council, and 3. With a view to expediting the water mains replacement works, whether the Director of Water Supplies has been vested with a higher level of coordinating power than that of general departments to coordinate with other departments at the same level, if so, of the details, if not, the reasons for that. Secretary for Development. President, since 2015, the Water Supplies Department, WSD, has implemented multi-pronged measures to maintain the health of the water supply network and reduce the risk of bursts or leaks of water mains. These measures include the implementation of the Risk-Based Asset Management Program for the water mains, the program in short, to facilitate the orderly deployment of water main improvement works. As at the end of December 2025, a total of approximately 584 km long water mains have been included in the program, with approximately 250 km have been replaced or rehabilitated. Among the remaining 334 km of water mains under the program, around 44 km of cast iron and asbestos cement water mains laid under the busy road sections are required for priority replacement or rehabilitation. In fact, in this financial year, the WSD have earmarked more than 50% for replacement compared to last year. As at March 2025, apart from replacement and rehabilitation of water mains, WSD has established about 2,400 district metering areas, DMAs, in the freshwater distribution networks over the territory under the Water Intelligence Network, WIN, to continuously monitor the condition of the network. Through the above-mentioned multi-pronged measures with efforts over the years, the leakage rate of freshwater mains have also dropped from over 25% in 2000 to around 12.8% in 2025. Regarding the question raised by Ms. KWOK Fu-yung, the reply is as follows. 1. To speed up the replacement of aged water mains along the busy road sections, the WSD has set up an interdepartmental task force under the chairmanship of the Director of Water Supplies, with the representatives from the Development Bureau, the Transport Department, the Highways Department, the Hong Kong Police Force, the Environmental Protection Department, and the Home Affairs Department in December 2024. To discuss and formulate temporary traffic arrangement schemes for the replacement of water mains, striving to minimize the impact of the works on the public. The task force has convened 7 meetings, which have effectively helped shorten the time required for water main replacement. For example, the task force has discussed 4 projects located on Garden Road, Wiley Road, Waterloo Road, and Ma Tau Chung Road. I'm sure you know that these road sections are extremely busy. After detailed analysis, extensive exchanges of views, and successful trial runs, the task force members agreed to close part of the lanes full day to speed up the replacement and to enlarge the works area without affecting traffic. Currently, the 4 above-mentioned projects has commenced and were expected to be completed in this year to next year, with the overall construction time estimated to be reduced by an average of about 30% through the coordination of the task force. The task force was established primarily to discuss and formulate temporary traffic arrangement schemes related to the replacement of water mains. Assessment of the priority of high-risk water mains for the improvement works falls under the purview of the WSD rather than the task force. In this regard, the WSD has a mechanism in place to consider the risk levels based on past records of bursts or leaks together with other factors, such as the years of service, materials, surrounding environment, and consequences of water mains bursts or leaks to assess whether a water main should be included in the program and to determine the priority of water mains already included in the program. WSD is currently carrying out about 50 km long water main improvement works, of which approximately 30 km are expected to be completed within this year. The remaining approximately 20 km long water main improvement works will be completed in phases by 2028 or earlier. In addition, from May 2026 to the end of this year, the WSD plans to commence another approximately 40 km long water mains improvement works. Regarding the WIN, the WSD is currently expanding and upgrading the WIN to achieve more comprehensive coverage of the water supply network, as well as upgrading the real-time data transmission function of the existing WIN by installing real-time sensors to enhance the management of leakage in water supply network. The relevant works are expected to be completed in phases by mid this year to mid next year. Besides, the WSD proposed the development of the smart water pressure management system, in which smart dynamic pressure reduction measures can be implemented without affecting the water use of the public, thereby reducing the cases of bursts and leaks of water mains. Part 2 to the question. The above-mentioned task force responsible for coordinating temporary traffic arrangements has handled 19 water main improvement projects since its establishment. Among them, 8 projects have commenced, and the works are anticipated to be completed in stages from the end of this year to 2028. For the other 8 projects, after discussion by the task force, the project teams are currently undertaking design modifications. The remaining 3 projects are in the preparatory stage by the WSD. Regarding the details of the 19 projects, please refer to the annex. Part 3 to the question. The purpose of establishing the task force is to create a platform in consolidation of government resources, facilitating collaboration between the WSD and other government departments in their respective domains of expertise, and developing temporary traffic arrangements and construction schedules with a view to expediting works and minimizing the impact to the public. Through this platform, WSD does not only more effectively solicit views from the public and government departments, but also help secure consensus, striving to discuss and resolve issues in advance. All departments engage in discussions with a shared commitment to getting the job done properly. The achievement described in the reply of Part 1 reflects the effectiveness of the task force. Thank you, President. Ms. KWOK Fu-yung. Thank you, President. I'd like to ask about the definition of main burst hotspots. In the Secretary reply, it is said that the Interdepartmental Task Force have handled 19 improvement works projects. 4 of them have to do with the hotspots. But among the 8 hotspots, the task force only handled 4 of them. In Qingyi Rural Committee Road, there is a large-scale water mains burst event. About 100,000 residents have been affected. I wonder why this is not included under the main burst hotspot mechanism. Will the administration review the definition of main burst hotspot so that it can more accurately reflect the actual circumstances? Secretary. Thank you. Regarding the definition of main burst hotspots, well, it means that in the road sections of 400 meters in length where more than one burst of water mains with a diameter of 150 mm or above have occurred within 2 years, then that location will be defined as the main burst hotspots. We have identified 8 hotspots over the years. 2 of them have been handled in earlier years. As for the remaining 6 hotspots, we are now working on it. But why I only mentioned 4 of them in the annex to the reply? That's because the Interdepartmental Task Force handle BC road sections. They plan for the works. For the remaining 6 hotspots, 4 of them are located at BC roads. That's why we need the coordination of the Interdepartmental Task Force. However, for the remaining 2, they are located in Chunwan. The works on the water mains there are in progress, but that's not handled by the task force. I understand that the water mains burst in all locations in Hong Kong. Water mains leaks can also come with serious consequences. So when WSD consider which water mains to include in the program, they don't just consider the hotspots. They make use of data to analyze the consequences caused by water mains leaks and bursts. And if the consequence is substantial, they include them in the program. Thank you. Ms. Jovi Chan. Thank you, President. I know that the government have improved many water mains across the territory. We discussed the relevant item in the PWSC meeting. The day before yesterday in Kwaiting, there was a burst of sewage mains in Hengyi Wui Road in Qingyi. There was a burst of freshwater mains. Luckily, the water mains only burst after dinner. There was minimal impact to the residents. I offered on-site support on that day. At that time, we were not able to identify the valve. That's why eventually we had to turn off a larger valve. But with the WIN, we should be able to monitor the leakage problem in real time. I know that WIN can detect effectively new water mains, but it's not as effective for older or aged water mains. That's like solar-powered torch. Older water mains is more susceptible to water leakage, but it seems that the WIN is not as effective on them. For aged water mains, what measures do we have for them as we are replacing them? Secretary. For new and aged water mains, well, when WSD install real-time sensors under the WIN, not all water mains are covered or installed with the sensors. So over these 2 years, we have to install more sensors. The WSD is installing these sensors at strategic locations. For sensors that have already been installed, the WSD may replace them with a newer version of the sensors, because some of the older sensors only record the data without transmitting it to the WSD. So as the WSD is installing new sensors, they are also replacing and upgrading the older sensors. That's my first point. With the sensors, the WSD will be able to detect leakage risks. More importantly, the WSD need to be able to adjust the water pressure dynamically. And in my reply, I said that WSD proposed the development of the Smart Water Pressure Management System. They will seek funding approval from the LegCo very soon. With the management system, the WSD will be able to monitor the water use of the public, thereby reducing the cases of burst and leaks of water mains, because they will be able to dynamically reduce the water pressure at certain locations. We need to speed up the replacement of aged water mains at the same time. Mr. Holden Chow. Thank you, President. In Tuen Mun last year, there was a large-scale water mains burst. Many residents were affected. I provided on-site support. Tuen Mun residents are aware of the water mains improvement and replacement works. I see that the administration have listed out all the main burst hotspots. As we are installing real-time sensors, are we seeing a lower number of bursts in these hotspots? This is how we grasp or assess the effectiveness of the real-time sensors. Secretary, one of the figures we mentioned in my main reply, that's about the leakage rate. In fact, the leakage rate of fresh water mains have dropped to about 12.8%. Another very useful number that we collect is that we collect the number of bursts and leaks among sewage and freshwater mains. We don't just look at the number of bursts, we also look at the number of leaks. And we do see that there is substantial drop in the burst and leakage rate. In 2024, sewage and freshwater mains together, we only saw 121 cases of burst and leaks. In 2025, 67 of such cases. So the percentage of decline is very substantial, but the WSD and we will not be complacent. For burst of water mains, regardless of whether it's fresh or sewage, cause huge impact to the people. I hope that with these figures, the public will be rest assured, they will be confident in the works that we carry out. We will strive to speed up the replacement of water mains and make use of technology for detection. Mr. Lerman Kwong. Thank you, President. For aged water mains, we do need to replace them, but some of them are located in private land, and some of them burst and leak. Say, for example, in January this year, there was a burst of fresh water mains in Meifu Sanchun, and that affected the residents in Phase 1. I thank the WSD for helping the owners in corporation or incorporated owner and the management office in handling the burst. The aging problem for water mains is worsening. For water mains in private residential development, is there a mechanism for the government to help them, or do we just leave them alone? Do we help them in identifying risk of burst and leakage? Secretary, thank you. For water mains in private land, the responsibility of rehabilitation and replacement lies with the owners of the residential development. However, WSD is more than happy to offer advice. They do have a scheme to encourage owners to apply for technical support and monetary subsidy. I can provide the members with more information after the meeting. Mr. Rock Chen. Thank you, President. I wonder if the WSD have introduced AI sensors targeting aged water mains or main burst hotspots. Secretary, I understand that WSD have made use of the technology such as the sonar sensors and AI sensors to detect risk of leakage and burst in water mains across the territory. Apart from Water Intelligent Network, I know that WSD will extend the use of technology. That's the end.
政府